Welcome to Cacti 7. I've been kind of addicted to chess. Before I sleep, I'll hop on a few chess games. If I'm on the toilet, I'll hop on a few chess games. Anytime I had a spare 10 minutes to burn, I would play chess. And best believe it wasn't always like this. A couple of months ago, I wanted to go on a little dopamine detox because I spent way too much time doom scrolling. There's better things to do than to doom scroll on TikTok before you sleep until your eyes barely open. Like actually going to sleep. So I took a deep breath and decided to delete all my dopamine apps. I deleted TikTok, I deleted Instagram, I even deleted Clash Royale. That's how you know I was getting serious. But there was still a problem left. What am I supposed to do when I'm taking a shit, huh? Stare at the ceiling? I don't think so. The answer was obvious. Download chess. Now, I am not a new chess player by any means. I've played chess for over a decade now. I remember when I was little, I was signed up to after-school chess while kids my age were going home, putting sand in their shoes, doing whatever kids do those days. I was stuck in school, training to become the next Hikaru Nakamura, the next Magnus Carlsen, the next Victor Axelsen. I've been playing chess for my entire life basically, but despite all this, guess what my current elo is right now on chess.com? I'll give you a second. 700. 700. That is abysmal. At my peak, my chess.com rating was 1200 elo, so imagine how heartbroken I was to see myself fall that much from grace. The obvious question is, how did it get that low? Well, me and my friends like to play these games that are less than intelligent, and after a little bit too many fooling sessions later, yeah, that's how we got here. But today, things will change. I am tired of having a low chess elo, and I'm willing to do whatever it takes to get my elo back to 1200 and relive my glory days. In this video, you're gonna watch me progress from a 700 player back to a 1200 rated chess player. Surely, it's not gonna be that hard, right? Right? This is your chessboard, and here's how the pieces work. Pawns can move forward by 2 squares on their first move and then only 1 square after. Knights move in 3x1 L shapes. Bishops move diagonally. Rooks move horizontally and vertically. And queens move... You don't need me to explain how chess works, you know how chess works. Game 1. I begin with a fire opening, A4. Cheese Eater 123 is officially in business. My opponent responds with E5. A very typical response. The opponents try to take control of the center, but I don't let that happen, so I stop it with a D4. We trade pawns, and now his queen is exposed to my queen, so we trade. And now he is in a worse situation than I am, because my king's able to castle, and his king can't, because he moved already. I bring my knight forward in hopes of taking this pawn and then this pawn, hoping to fork the king and the rook, but Crusading Pufferfish sees this and defends the pawn. And so a couple moves later, the opponent drops the same idea, trying to take this knight, no, take this pawn, sorry, forking my rook and king, but I don't let that happen. I see it too, so I follow up with B3, knight B3, protecting this pawn. And so we shuffle our pieces a little bit more, and usually in this point of the game, I get kind of stuck, because what are you supposed to do after developing your pieces? So my thought process was I should try to make this knight a little more useful, right? And try to attack the king a little, so I decided to move my knight back, you know, in hopes of like bringing it here, I don't know, something like that, right? My opponent takes my piece, I take it, we do a little trade, I decide to trade, he takes, I move my king away to avoid the discover check, which is gonna be a little nasty, and a couple moves later, I completely blunder my bishop. My opponent is now up by an entire knight and a bunch of pawns. Black simplifies the position, and eventually I run out of time. What a brutal loss. My next opponent was Rice Cooker 4970, who just happens to be rated 2000 elo, but that's not a big deal for, and I lost pretty brutally. This guy was up by an entire queen. My next opponent was Ilu, rated 400. Now the thing about players that are rated 400 is that you have no idea what they're gonna do. I do a very standard opening, E4, and he follows up with... What a great move. I develop my knight, and he follows up with... What a great move. This guy might have developed his moves brilliantly. He might have done many genius queen sacrifices, rook sacrifices, but I still ended up checkmating him. Game 3, a brutal rook slide checkmate. Game 4, I play the brilliant move, pawn to E5, and he resigns. Damn, this guy kinda sucks. Next game, I did the brilliant move, knight E2, scaring the opponents so much that they abandoned their game. And after that win, my elo now was 809. Let's see if I can keep up this win streak. This game starts off very standard, with both of us doing the Italian opening. This is not the Italian opening. Don't listen to a single word I'm saying, I do not know opening names. But anyways, you can see that this move here, my pawn is specifically attacking this guy's knight, right? Typically in a situation like this, you'd want to move your knight away, you know, to not lose the knight to a pawn. But this guy saw a vision that no one could see. Pawn forward, counter-attacking my bishop. This is smart, because if I take the knight, which I will do, he can just take my bishop. He takes my pawn. What a brilliant play. Alright, next position. I'm trying to attack this bishop, and black defends by guarding the bishop? Anyways, I take the bishop, putting the king in check. The king moves up. I take the pawn with my bishop, checking the king. King moves down, bishop moves down. Then I queen trade. And then black plays a brilliant move up. Bishop to c5, attacking my bishop. And this guy lost. That was actually pretty damn easy. I'm already at 800 elo. And every time I do win a game, chess.com will grant me 8 elo. So if my math was correct, if I want to reach 1200 elo, all I have to do is win 50 games in a row. Okay, that's a little bit daunting. I'm gonna keep my vision small and try to reach 1000 elo first. If my next opponents are as bad as the ones I previously played, like, oh my god, some of these opponents are so bad. It'd be such an easy task to get to 1000 elo. That'd just be like 25 wins, which at most would take like 2 weeks, right? 3 months. It took 3 months and over 200 chess games for me to reach 1000 elo. You saw all the games I showed you earlier, right? Those games were played in February. It is currently May as I'm recording this video. May. Why did it take 3 months for me to reach 1000 elo? I don't know. And it's not like I've been slacking off. I've been playing chess every single day within those 3 months. I just couldn't manage to catch myself on a consistent win streak. I would lose a couple of games and then win a couple of games, and then the cycle would repeat itself, right? I would more or less lose and win exactly half my games. I don't want to show you all the games because I don't want this video to be 7 hours long. But here's a couple of highlights of how this 3-month-long journey went. Can I get some music? This game, I get defeated by a queen checkmate. The opponent took my pawn, I took the pawn back with my bishop, not knowing that I hung my queen. I am so ahead in this game. I'm up by a rook and a bishop, and they just abandoned this. Black's queen was able to capture my rook, having a +9 advantage. This guy blunders his queen and soon resigns. Beautiful rook queen checkmate. I somehow queensmated this guy because he forgot to defend his pawn. My bishop takes this pawn, and if the king takes, my knight can go here, forking the king and the rook, and okay, no big deal. We're gonna keep applying pressure to the king, and then this part goes crazy. I'm down by 4 points, right? My pawn takes, causing the white king to only go in the middle here, since there's no other squares to go. And then I bring in my black queen, checking the king again. White moves the king out of the way, which allows me to promote my pawn into a queen, double queen checkmate. And then I accidentally hung this pawn, and in a position like this, it's pretty much, it's unwinnable. The rook slid down with a checkmate, yeah, it's over. My opponent didn't see the classic knight fork, checking the king and taking the rook. And if you pay attention to the clock, right, my opponent had 8 minutes on this move. I put the knight here, and my opponent just stalled for 3 entire minutes. 3 entire minutes of doing nothing and then resigning. Oh, I mean abandoning. I was trying to put pressure onto the black king, but then somehow, I just blundered it all away. I lost this rook, I can't take the rook back because the queen's guarding it, and it's just over. It's just over. In this position, I was literally in the lead. I was up by a knight. So my Ooga Booga brain was like, oh, I'm in the lead right now. I should simplify the position by trading the knight. So I took the knight, and I didn't realize that when the bishop took the knight, I was in check. Not only was I in check, but I only had 1 viable square to go. I moved my king up, the queen slides down, I have to block with my queen, and little did I know, I got checkmated before mid-game even started. And then I enter endgame, down by an entire rook. Alright, check this out. White is trying to take my bishop, right? So I counterattack. White takes the bishop anyways, and I take the bishop. Now the obvious move is to move the knight out of the way, right? And they did not do that. And not too long later, I checkmated. Knight takes pawn, which I don't know why. The opponent just resigned after. Okay, ignore the mate in 7 evaluation bar right there. I didn't see that, you didn't see that, okay? But anyways, I have a lot of pressure put onto the king right now. And a couple moves later, we decide to trade, and look how bad this position was for white. I took the pawn with my bishop, defending the knight, right? I moved my knight away, discover check while forking the queen and the rook, right? And here, I'm +10, but I only have 4 seconds left to play. So, I panicked a little bit, and this was so tragic. Eventually, I ran out of time. Dude, I was 1 move away from checkmate, and I ran out of time. This is actually, it's so sad. It's so sad. And that concludes the highlight reel. Obviously, there's a lot more games than what I've just shown. One of the saddest things I've endured throughout this 3-month-long chess journey was that I've actually crossed the 1000 elo, right? And I was actually doing really well for myself. I was winning the majority of my games, almost reaching 1100 elo. As you can see here, I'm 107A elo. And then for some mysterious reason, right, I started catching myself in a loss streak. I started losing so many of my games. I don't know if it's because I just started relaxing. I won these couple of games, but then look, Just loss after loss after loss. And I'm not just sort of losing, I'm like really losing. Like over here, I'm literally a whole rook down. And by the end, white has a passed pawn, promotes into a queen, and obviously the game's over. As you can see in my recent games, I've actually held myself near the 1000 elo range. Until this game. This loss caused me to go below 1000 again. And now my current 10-minute rating is 958. Dude, what is this? Alright, I have one more game to show you. This game is so good, it literally gives Gotham chess an erection. But before I show you, I want to give you a little bit of a prelude. So I was in my bed yesterday just chilling, grinding out some chess, but this game became so intense, I literally got out of bed and sat on my table. This game made me actually audibly scream. Like, forget Gotham chess, it made me erect. I'm not including that. And let's just begin the game. This game starts with a queen's pawn opening. White does bishop out, I do knight out, white does knight out, I do knight out. Pretty standard opening so far, we're just developing our pieces. I'm bringing my bishop out because I want a castle, right? And also, why not just attack the knight? Can responds with c3. Now, instead of retreating my bishop, I decide to go take it because I realized that after the pawn moved forward, there's no longer a pawn defending his white bishop, right? So if he takes my bishop, I can just take this bishop, which he does, and I do that as well. And a little more trading goes on. So far so good, we're more or less completely even in positioning and pieces. I slide my knight forward to assert more dominance, he moves his knight away, I move my bishop away. Now white takes my pawn attacking the rook with the bishop, I slide my rook out, attacking this entire line, and then white checks my king with this queen right now. I defend with a pawn. Now if I were white, I'd move this bishop away because it's being under attack right now, but for some reason, nah, they just didn't do that. I think the idea was that Can wanted to take this knight. If I capture with the pawn, the queen comes in and then double checks my king and forks my rook, right? So I looked around the board for a bit and I realized it was still safe to take the bishop. I took it anyways. White takes my bishop, and instead of taking the knight usually, I took the pawn with this rook. The idea is that I want to move my knight here, take the pawn, and then start checking the king, right? He moves the knight here. I'm not really too sure what the idea is. And I move my queen out. Now, the f2 pawn is in grave danger. There are 3 pieces currently attacking it. So he moves it forward. I slide my queen in. King moves away. I fork the king and the queen with my knights. I take the queen, and now I'm 11 points ahead. The evaluation bar literally says I haven't made in 3, but here's where you discovered why I'm 900 rated in the first place. I'm pretty sure the mate was sliding the queen here, but I didn't see it at the time. Anyways, I took the white pawn, the white rook slid out, and for some reason, this is the move that I realized, oh, I can slide my queen here and checkmate, right? So I slid it there. And that was a grave mistake because this white rook can now come down, attacking this entire line, right? Basically guaranteeing that he can get my rook. So he slides down. Oh no. I move my king up, but he doesn't take my rook, instead taking my b7 pawn with his other rook. This is really bad. My king only has 2 options, to go here and here. I saw that moving my king here would result in an instant checkmate with rook to d7. So I did my only possible last move, e6. Here is where the game gets crazy. You see, in hindsight, I didn't see that rook takes f7 was also checkmate, as it covers here, this square too. But my opponent was looking at a different idea. Knight to g4, checking my king, forking my queen and rook. At this point, my heart was beating profoundly, okay? I thought this game was absolutely over. My king has no other option than to go to f5, so I move here. Instead of knight taking the queen, my opponent checks me again with a rook move. If only he did this take 1 move earlier. I move my king up. Can finally takes my queen. In this position, I thought I was losing really badly because I just lost my queen. But then, I saw something crazy. If I'm able to converge my king closer to his king, maybe I can start planning an attack. So I first take the knight, sacrificing my rook. I move my king to d3, and this is where the beauty starts. My knight is covering this square, my king is covering these 2 squares, meaning sliding the rook down would result in checkmates. It might not look that crazy right now, but I'm telling you, yesterday when I was playing, to go from completely winning to completely losing back to this position, I cannot tell you how good it felt. White can't go anywhere to save the king, and as such, checkmate. That's it. That's the whole video. If you liked the video, like the video. If you didn't like it, I hope your pillows warm tonight. I played way too much chess to make this video. Like, I'm high-key sick of this game. I never want to play another chess game in like the next 10 years. But yeah, this is my first upload on Cacti 7. Tell me what you think of the video. What else? Oh yeah, next week's upload. I'm probably gonna upload a Minecraft video. I've been playing a lot of Minecraft lately. It's been pretty fun. So yeah, watch out for that, and thanks for watching. This video is sponsored by Code Emails. Dear Skillshare, NordVPN, Honey, oh not Honey, please give me money and I will promote your product. I have 1 million subscribers. What? We're not at 1 million subscribers? Guys, you have to subscribe right now so these companies can send me money. Remember, our subscriber goal was 12 million subs. If we don't reach that number by the end of this year, I'll be very disappointed. That's it. Alright, I'm out.